Welcome everybody and good afternoon. Welcome especially to Boutros Boutros, who is the Emirates Airline Divisional Senior Vice President for Corporate Communications, and Boutros has been instrumental in today's announcement. So thank you for that, Boutros. We've had a long and fruitful partnership with Emirates Airlines since 2004. It's been a very important relationship for Arsenal in our recent history. The original deal was a key component of our move from Highbury to our new home, Emirates Stadium. And that's why I'm delighted to announce today that our relationship with Emirates is being extended. We've agreed a new deal which grants Emirates a 5-year extension to their shirt partnership with the club to the end of the 2018-19 season. This means they will have been our shirt partner for 13 seasons. That's one of the longest continuous shirt partnerships in European football. The deal represents also an important step in our strategy of developing our commercial revenue streams to be able to compete at the very top of the game, both in England and in Europe. This will be one of the biggest deals ever struck in the game of football. It's worth £150 million to Arsenal over the term of the additional 5 years. The magnitude of the deal is a testament to the strength of our relationship with Emirates, and it's a powerful statement of their belief in our future, and that's an important statement because they're a partner who knows us better than anyone. It's also a testament to our overarching philosophy and values at Arsenal Football Club, the style of football that we've developed under Arsene Wenger, the strength of our following around the world, and the new commercial capabilities that we've developed in recent years. Emirates are the perfect partner for Arsenal. They represent excellence and always moving forward. As anyone will know who's been lucky enough to fly in one of their A380s. They're a huge and growing. They have a huge and growing international profile and reputation. It's incredible. I was talking to Boutros before we came out here. In 1985, their airline fleet was 2 airplanes, and now it's over 180. So that makes them an airline both of the present and of the future, and we're very proud to be associated with them. Emirates is one of the best known and most sophisticated companies involved in global sports, and they have unlimited opportunities to involve themselves in sports and team partnerships around the world. Arsenal have also had opportunities to associate ourselves with many brands in sports, but I'm proud to say that knowing each other best, they chose us and we chose them. This is one of the strongest and best partnerships in sports, one of the largest deals of its type signed in the game so far. And as part of the deal, our stadium will continue to be known as Emirates Stadium until 2028. In addition to the Emirates brand appearing on the front of our playing and training kits, the deal contains a number of marketing rights to ensure that Emirates can engage with Arsenal fans in the UK and abroad. This is an important and exciting day for our football club. We're looking forward to continuing our strong partnership with Emirates and moving forward together. As Emirates would say, hello tomorrow. Now I'd like to ask Boutros Boutros to say a few words.
Thanks, Ivan. Anyway, he said everything. Not much left for me. But on behalf of our chairman, His Highness Sheikh Ahmed bin Saeed Al Maktoum, I'm here today representing Emirates, and I'm proud for the new announcement. This one, it means probably 3 things for us. First, it will ensure that the Gunners continue to fly Emirates with a new shirt partnership, and will continue for another 5 years until the end, of course, 2018-2019. Second, it means that Arsenal home ground will remain the Emirates Stadium through 2028. So I don't know if we will be here by 2028, but it enforces our belief in the club, and it enforces that Emirates will be there by 2028 and will be the biggest airline in the world. And Arsenal will be there, and hopefully they will be winning more and more in the future. Third, reaffirmed our commitment to sponsorship, to sponsoring sports across the world, not least here at Arsenal Football Club, a sporting colossus which shares our values of a global appeal, innovation, and an ambitious approach to success. We were for the club when it moves to this 60,000 capacity new stadium, and it was at that time the biggest venue transformations football has seen in modern times, and will continue to be with the club. It consolidates in its position and one of the top 5 in the world. And when we moved, or when we sponsored the stadium, I remember in the early days, there were a lot of question marks. It was something new for England, and I strongly believe at that time we believed that there is a future. Naming rights was something like unknown in UK, and there were a lot of questions. Why do you sponsor a naming right? And it took a lot of debates internally and externally. And now I'm really proud to report it pays off, and it was a very good move from our side, and of course it was a very good move from Arsenal. Anyway, I will not expand more. I'll open the floor for you if you like to ask any questions, but I would really like to wish Arsenal all the success and confirm our commitment to the success of the club and what was promised to be better and better. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I can just say who you are and ask a question, Tarek.
Tarek Panji from Bloomberg News. A couple of questions. You mentioned 150 million, and you said there's a training kit deal there as well. There's quite a few components put in. How good a deal is it? I mean, the headline figure is pretty massive, but you've given them quite a lot of rights. How big a deal is it? United got 11 million from DHL for their training shirt. So if you could just put that into context. And Boutros, so I can ask you, you've been with Arsenal since 2006. Unfortunately, they haven't sort of won anything since then. Is that something you'd like the team to build on? What would be your message to Arsenal in that respect?
Okay, let me start. We think this is a terrific deal, which gives us great value for the rights that are included in it. It does include both the training kit and the shirt itself, and we think that's the best way for us to put our partnership rights together. We prefer to have clarity in terms of our partner relationships and not to clutter our shirt and training kit with different brands. And I think that's an approach that's worked really well for us and also for Emirates. So we're very pleased with the overall value. We think it's an outstanding deal for the club.
Okay. From our side, although they did not win any championship, but they won huge fans across the globe. Arsenal, just when we start the sponsorship was relatively an okay club in the world. But now we know from our research and study, the fan base of Arsenal has grown dramatically, and especially with the new media, which helped it a lot probably. And now they start playing abroad. Again, it emphasizes their presence. So really, Arsenal become a truly global club. So for us, by itself, this is a winning. Also, they never went down like below 5 for the last 6 years. So at the end of the day, there's always one winner. And when we get into a partnership, we would love them to win, and we hope that this amount of money we are paying now will help them to invest more into the club and hopefully with a fair play as well. We strongly believe that the club is in very well positioned and in a position now to win in the future and to continue and to excel as well. And again, another thing, they didn't win. We didn't have to pay them bonus, so it was okay for us.
Hi, the question for Ivan is guarantees you for Sky Sports. Ivan, at the AGM, I'm sure you remember that.
I don't recall the AGM.
It was a bit spicy at times. How much do you think, you were alluding to the fact that you had several deals coming up, how much do you think this deal will appease those fans that gave you a hard time at the AGM?
Well, that's not the purpose of the deal. We've been very clear about our strategy. The strategy, which has been driven and supported by Stan Kroenke and our board, is to grow our commercial revenues so that we can have more money to be able to invest in the playing side to drive the club forward. That's been part of a long journey. The move into the new stadium was the first step in that journey. The expansion of our commercial deals is a second step in that journey, and this is as dramatic as the move into the new stadium was in propelling the club forward. Our revenues will grow to put us into the top 5 revenue clubs in the world, and we think that'll give us the platform to be able to reinvest in the team and push the team forward. That's what we all want at the football club. That's what our fans want. That's what the board of directors want, and that's what everyone associated with this club or who loves this club wants to see happen. So we're really excited about the deal. The deal is all about football. It's all about giving us the resources in what we believe is a responsible and well-managed way to be able to invest in what we put onto the field for our fans. So this is good news for Arsenal. It's good news for our fans.
I'm Jim Beaumont from the Press Association. Buttress has talked about, what when you get more money to put back in the team. You've talked about investing in it. That's what the fans want. When can they expect to see an investment in January? Is some of this money going to be set aside? You've got, contract dispute with one of your senior players looking to be resolved at the moment. I think that's probably what the fans are looking for, rather than headline figures. Maybe some of that actually being reducing the transfer market and paying players the wages to keep them.
Well, as I've said, the strategy is to grow our commercial revenues, not for the sake of growing revenues, but so that we have money to be able to invest. One of the nice things about doing this deal with Emirates, an existing partner, is that we've been able to talk to them about the payment terms and bring some of the payments forward so that we'll have additional money in this financial year, which will be available to invest in the summer. Those decisions on investment, as you know, are made by our manager, and he's done an outstanding job of managing the resources of the club over time, and we'll expect that to continue, but he'll have more resources available to him.
If these resources are there now, you've talked about it as well, the importance of signing young players up. Is it not important to get there? Walker, the manager, talked about it yesterday, about trying to get that commitment. Is that not an important thing that needs to be high on the agenda going forward?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not here to talk about any individual player contract discussions, but obviously we've got funds to be able to make the right decisions for the football club, and we'll do that based on Arsene's judgment.
At the back.
Keith Wheeler from Reuters. Can you give any update on the kit supply deal? Obviously, you've got the name, whose name is going to be on the shirts. Is there anything you can say about who's going to be supplying the shirts?
Well, our kit deal expires at the same time as the Emirates deal would have expired, so that's something that's on our agenda. We're moving that forward, but until then, we've had a great partnership with Nike. Again, a deal that really enabled us to push the club forward into the new stadium, and that relationship is very good. But unless we're in a position to make an announcement on that, I can't really say more than that. That's a situation that's ongoing.
Any more?
Warren Hall from TalkSport. How important was not just the deal itself, the kit deal, but the naming rights as well? Because obviously we wouldn't want a situation where Newcastle, where there's debate about changing the name of the stadium every 4 or 5 years. How important was that?
Well, I think for us this is the most important opportunity you have in terms of naming a stadium, and we know this from experience from all around the world, is when you first build the stadium. And this is a stadium that is known as Emirates Stadium, and even before this discussion about extending the naming rights would have been known as Emirates Stadium until 2021. So we've extended that by a further 7 years. We think that that's a really appropriate part of the package that we're putting together here. How you value what naming rights are worth in 2021 on renaming a stadium that's been known as Emirates Stadium for 15 years is a pretty difficult task, but we obviously look very closely at that. But we think this is a stadium that's going to be known as Emirates Stadium now until 2028, and it's a great part of the partnership. It works together with the shirt partnership as well, very well for Emirates, and I think they feel they've got good value out of that, so we're very happy about that extension.
Just one other sponsorship you have, one major one that I'm keen on talking about is the one with FIFA, the big World Cup partnership. You're putting quite a lot more money into Arsenal now. That should be up for renewal soon. What's your view on Emirates and being a World Cup partner, a FIFA partner long term, given the World Cup will be in Qatar in 2022?
Our current deal with FIFA covers 2014 in Brazil, and we still haven't negotiated the extension. So of course we are looking forward to it, but it's still a bit early to decide on it. We are firming few deals with few clubs in Europe, and this will enforce our presence in football. Post 2014, we are going to reevaluate our sponsorship portfolio, our image, our awareness, and accordingly we'll take a decision whether we will continue with others or not. If you look now at our club portfolio, we go in the top clubs in Europe, which gives us the global coverage we want among the soccer fans. So when you talk about Paris Saint-Germain, AC Milan, Real Madrid, even now we don't have shirts with them, but we have some kind of advertising arrangement. And then you talk about Hamburg, and we have some couple of local clubs in region and Asia. So we are really very solid now in soccer. So I believe FIFA played a big role in the growth of Emirates and in the awareness for Emirates. We need to do our market research after post 2014, and as I said, then we will decide whether we continue or not.
Andrew Allen from Arsenal News. I was just wondering even if the relationship with Emirates will shape where Arsenal go on tour in the future.
Well, we've taken a big step as a club. Part of the changes over the last few years have been the fact that we now tour internationally. We don't have requirements in the contract that we tour in any specific places, but obviously it's important for us as a club, as we continue to grow and develop and reach out to our global fan base, that we continue to go overseas, and that's a path we're committed to. And having Emirates as a partner is a fantastic help in that, because as we saw, for example, on this year's tour, where they were a presenting partner of the tour, they added so much value in the places that we were going. We did a lot of partner activation with them. It's not possible in the modern world for any football club to have the kind of resources to really drive all of the international reach and activity that they would want to have. What you need to have are really strong global partners with the same kind of vision as you have, and I think we have that in Emirates. So they will help us with our drive to reach out to our fan base around the world, and we will help them by continuing to travel globally during our pre-seasons, and that's a long-term commitment and a long-term path that this club is on.
I have another question. One of the bugbears of a lot of Arsenal fans is the price of season tickets. You know, will any of this money and any other impending deals help ease the burden, shall we say, on that?
Yeah, I think one of the things I've said in the past is that we, as a club, particularly since the move to the new stadium, have been very reliant on stadium revenues, more so than any of the other big clubs, with over 40% of our revenues coming here from the stadium. That's why it's been so important for us strategically to grow our other revenue streams, to diminish the reliance on local stadium revenue. So I do think that this step does that. It expands our revenue base and takes some of the pressure off the stadium in terms of its key importance over the last few years. That's a very, very important strategic step for us, and that's why this is a very big step for the club as we continue through the stadium move. Yeah.
So prices will come down at some point, you say?
I didn't say they would come down. I think we've been very responsible on ticket pricing over time. We've had, since we moved to the new stadium, we've had 2 increases in season ticket prices. Both of those have been inflationary increases only in the year that they were made. That means during my time here, for example, we've only had 1 increase in ticket prices. We've tried very hard to manage and balance this demand that we spend more money in the market, which I've heard from some of the questions today, with also trying to take a long-term responsible attitude towards our fan base, despite the fact that we've got long waiting lists in all categories in the stadium, we haven't pushed ticket prices forward. We've tried to hold them to a responsible level, and I think we've managed to do that over the past years. I think the expansion of our revenue base will help us in managing that relationship as we look forward.